The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020. Thanks so much for joining me. I have a couple of guests that are joining us tonight. I forgot to cut my lamp back on, and I'm going to have to get it on. It's going to bother me. It's really going to bother me. I think I'm going to have to start the whole show over. Well, I tell you what I can do. We can get this first video playing. I want you to take a look at this speech from Donald Trump. In a world of vaccines, pandemics, all the stuff that is happening, the president of the United States, who has spent more time since his defeat, has spent more time working on how he can overthrow democracy than how he could actually help save people. And even in spite of us moving towards having the possible pathway towards saving lives and getting back to real normalcy, and using this pretty pitiful package from Congress as a way of at least giving the people something, the president of the United States is saying he's sending it back. Now, I haven't watched this clip, but if the president of the United States is saying he's sending it back because he wants to ensure that the American people get more, okay, I'm with it. Okay, I'm with it. I'm not going to create. So I haven't watched this clip yet. Maybe you've seen it, but it was just breaking as we were preparing for tonight's show. So let's take a look at this clip, and then we'll discuss. And then I'm going to bring in Brian Lewis. He is one of the contributors here. He has been putting in a lot of work and doing a lot of great things. I want to get his opinion on this and his insight. And then also later in the episode, I will be bringing in another special guest by the name of Darren Smith. But let's start with this clip.
Throughout the summer, Democrats cruelly blocked COVID relief legislation in an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda and influence the election. Then, a few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace.
Okay. The amount of money that they are not giving the American people is a disgrace, period. I agree with him. Let's see what else he says.
For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill, which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity, it's called the COVID Relief Bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia, $134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment.
I mean, but you that should be a good thing for you, Donald Trump. That's Putin, your dude. So that's nothing, that should be fine with you. As far as the insinuation that there's legislation that has pork in it, welcome to the United States of America. There's never been a piece of legislation that has been passed clean. That's not the problem that I have with it. The problem that I have with it is the fact that it gives American people $600 after we have been in this pandemic for over nearly a year. But let's see if he gets to that point.
$25 million for democracy and gender programs in Pakistan. $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington.
So pork barrel. Yeah, there's pork. Yeah. What about the people? If you're not upset at the pork saying that could have gone to the people, then what the hell are you saying? Maybe you're going to get there. Maybe he's going to surprise me. It's a Christmas miracle. I feel a Christmas miracle. Donald Trump is going to tell everybody that he wants this to go back to Congress because he refuses to send the American people $600. That's what he's getting ready to say.
Which is not even open for business. $1 billion for the Smithsonian and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art. Likewise, these facilities are essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico, a provision to promote the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries, $3 million in poultry production technology, $2 million to research the impact of down trees, $566 million for...
Yes. Okay. Are you going to come and tell us you want $2,000 a person? If you do, I have nothing. I will have, if the president actually says this, because I literally have not seen this clip, right? It was breaking before we started. But the president says he wants $2,000 a person. I will give him a compliment right here. Let's go.
Construction projects at the FBI. The bill also allows stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get...
Oh, you got to throw in a little bit of xenophobia to boot.
...to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful
okay, so he's gonna wrap some nationalism and some xenophobia in order to demand American people. So he can't ask for $2,000 because we're human. He'll say, well, we should deserve $2,000 because we don't want to give it to all these foreign countries. Okay, I see where he's going with this. Let's go.
And much more. The $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments. And not enough money is given to small businesses, and in particular restaurants, whose owners have suffered so grievously. They were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition. Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault.
All right, bro. Let's see what you got for us, though. What's the recommendation, Mr. President?
Not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple.
Okay.
I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done. Thank you very much.
This man, look, Donald, let me help you out, Donald. You're not going to have a second administration, but it's good that you're actually going to do something good before you go out, because there's absolutely no sense. The bill, I will give the president a compliment. Yes, $2,000 is probably the bare minimum that every American should get. Way better than $600. You could actually at least pay 1 month's rent with $2,000, right? You can pay your rent and get some groceries in most places, unless you live in the Northeast, then you're screwed because that's not even your rent. $2,000 doesn't cover your rent. But I digress. The point is okay. All right. Yes, send it back. Send it back, because $600, you're not going to see me posturing because he's Donald Trump and he's a Republican. No. Send it back. And the thing about this is, well, let me put up this tweet from Nancy Pelosi. Not that I care too much about what she says, but she said Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks. At last, the president has agreed to $2,000. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. Let's go. All right. Now we're talking. I want to bring in a contributor here at the Benjamin Dixon Show, Brian Lewis. He has been kicking you out. And what do you hear this boy just open up his mouth and just say anything, man? Say hello to the people. Oh, well, your mic is off. That's on me. My bad. No, you good. Now say hello to the people, man.
What's up, Ben? What's up, chat? I'm glad to finally be here. As he said, my name is Brian. I am that dude who you've been hearing on these videos, wondering who in the world is this guy? I know, I can only imagine at the very beginning, people were probably like, Am
Who
I
is this
clicking
voice?
on the right video? What's going on right now?
They're like, wait, did Ben finally get some bass in his
I've been
voice?
following your show for years, though. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they listened to that first video of you and they were like, wait, did Ben finally get some bass in his voice? But Brian, listen, man, everybody's been asking about you. First and foremost, thank you for the contributions that you're giving here and covering all the news that one person can't cover everything that needs to be covered. So we appreciate you, and a lot of people have been they want to see who you are, and we're going to get you all the same camera. We're going to get you set up lovely. In the meantime, between now and there, what are your thoughts about what the president is saying here? Because, he was completely absent. And I want to start here. Number one, good. The American people need way more than $600. I think that was an insult in the first place, and that never should have passed in the first place. So this is actually a good thing that the president is doing. Obviously, the back end of it is he's saying that he wants to have a next administration. We get that that's the coup attempt that he's attempting to do since November 3rd. But the thing is, the president of the United States was MIA. He took no part in the negotiations for this particular deal over the last 2 weeks, and finally has come in at the last hour and, quote unquote, saved the day for the American people, making sure that they got more. But this could have been rectified long before this point. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, I mean, like I said in the video that I did yesterday about it, I mean, it's a disgrace, and it makes this country look just so extremely dysfunctional. Because, I mean, when you compare what the United States hasn't done, compare that to what other countries have done for their people, $600, half of what they provided the first go around. And on the first go around, like $1,200, I mean, that'll cover expenses for some people. That'll cover bills for some people, but it still wasn't enough. Right. So to come back and to cut that in half, cut UI benefits in half, even though they extended that. It's just not. It's not something that anybody should have accepted, and I think they've responded to a lot of the pressure that people have put them under. So I mean, if he vetoes that bill and he sends it back, and they can actually, if Nancy Pelosi follows through, and signs on to the $2,000 a month. Well, not a month. That's what would be ideal. But
that's what
a $2,000 one-time check.
Right.
Then yeah, I would be all for it.
Right. So I'll be all for it too. And here's the thing, like it stands little to no chance of passing the Senate, except for the fact of the pressure that Donald Trump can put on Republicans. But I don't know that Mitch McConnell is gonna go for this. And so, I mean, in some ways, I feel like, yeah, this is a good sign. Like the American people need more. Period. But what's the likelihood of passing through the Senate, still controlled by Republicans? What's the likelihood of this getting past Mitch McConnell?
I mean, I think if Trump puts enough pressure on him, what's up, Audrey? I think if Trump puts enough pressure on him, it's possible. But I think ultimately people might have to get into the streets. We should have been in the streets beforehand, honestly. And I mean, of course, it's possible if we can take those 2 seats in Georgia, and once Joe Biden gets into office, but that's at the end of January. So in terms of what's happening right now, I mean, it's possible. I would say it's unlikely, but it's possible. He would have to put a lot of pressure on them, and more pressure than he's probably put on the Senate up until this point. So, I mean, if people are in the streets, and if people are demanding it, if people are calling in, if people camp out to the best of their ability, and get into these Senate rooms and Senate halls and do what they did sort of before when AOC first got in there. It would have to be a combination of public pressure, I think, combined with pressure from the White House. If it's just pressure from the White House, I don't necessarily know if it's going to happen.
And that's the thing. Like, he's kind of set this up for Democrats to have a slam dunk win, right? Because what are Republicans supposed to do at this point, right? Are they supposed to come out and be for this after all the pressure, all the trouble that, for instance, here in Georgia, Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue have gone through trying to position themselves neatly in this race? But with Donald Trump pulling his stump, that really kind of undermines their race, for one. But then If they can't pull it off, that means the American people will be going into the special election on January 5th in Georgia with them not receiving any stimulus package, and it will be directly the result of Donald Trump. So I wonder if the American people are going to say, we could have got 600 and then we got nothing, or say, no, let's just wait and see if we can get more later. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I mean, he has put them into an awkward position because if it doesn't, like you said, if it doesn't go through, if the Senate doesn't sign on to it, then they really are putting the Georgia Republicans in an awkward position in terms of their reelection. But, you know, it's really hard to say. I mean, ultimately, I think we're going to get more anyway, regardless. So this $600, as shameful as it is, I do believe once Biden gets into office and, you know, ideally if we can take back the Senate, I do think we're going to get more. Ultimately, the problem is they're never going to do what needs to be done.
Talk about
and
it.
what needs to be done is something way more to, you know, much further to the left of what they're even talking about now. No one is even talking about a UBI. No one is even talking about making the payment, or even if it's just a one-time payment, making it retroactive so that it goes back to, you know, March, you know, because they only provided it once, right? The first time they did it, the $1,200 the first time. There's no talk about making it retroactive. There's no talk about a UBI, you know, even for a year, even if it's just temporary.
And for anyone who's wondering, UBI stands for Universal Basic Income, basically saying the government is going to guarantee you a baseline salary throughout the duration of this pandemic. Go ahead.
Right. I mean, that's what normal countries would do. If we actually had a country where they placed value on the lives of regular people, you know what I'm saying? Instead of making sure the Pentagon gets paid, making sure, you know, Elon Musk and these Fortune 500 companies make all of their money and make a killing during the pandemic. If they were more concerned about regular, average, everyday people, this wouldn't even be up for debate. This wouldn't even be a discussion. We should honestly, if we were a lot more like France, if we were a lot more like, you know, they even in India, they went on a strike. There were millions of people who went on a worker strike. You know, ultimately, it's going to come down to workers, everyday workers in this country saying enough is enough, and we are going to, you know, demand that this country do better by us.
Right.
And if not, then there's a problem. Right. And there's a problem that we might have to solve another way. You know, ideally, hopefully this electoralism thing will work out and, you know, we won't have to go to mass protests, but, you know, we don't know where that's going to go.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, so as far as the mass protests, man, we were just thinking about the opportunity for that was already this summer. I think the American people missed that. I think the George Floyd protest was the flashpoint that you had both the rage of people fighting for justice as well as the ridiculousness of 100,000 people who were dead by that point. And now we're at 330,000 dead. I'm not sure that we can count on some mass uprising again. But at the same time, if they keep playing with folks, they keep playing with this money, it's a good possibility that the people will take right back to the streets. Hey, Brian, we're going to take a quick breather here, and we're going to come back and watch a couple more videos and get some more of your commentary. So let's hold tight. Here we go. So Brian, I got Rebecca in the audience. Rebecca Azor. Rebecca, you gonna come jump on? We're gonna have a full house tonight. Rebecca, get your go ahead and take your bonnet off. Take your bonnet off and throw on your face and come on and get on camera with us. We have a little conversation. We got Darren Wilson hanging out with us coming in a few minutes. And just as an announcement, we're not going to be streaming tomorrow night, Thursday night, or Friday night, because I am going to be in the ultimate Disney dad mode. I'm talking about we're gonna be matching pajamas. We're gonna be doing like custom, like I'm making my dad's recipe chili, and we're gonna be watching, Christmas movies. So I'm gonna reset this week to make sure that I don't go back to somebody wants to know like whether or not we're gonna have the Disney dad or the Hulk dad, and because I've been hulking out lately. But no, we're going into ultimate. It's Christmas time, man. And so we want to.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to say Merry Christmas to everybody. I didn't know if you would be doing a show later this week. So, yeah, since it sounds like you wouldn't be, I want to get that out of the way now. And, I want to actually – do you have Netflix by any chance?
I do, yeah.
Okay, I can actually advertise then, of course, they're not paying me to say this.
Right.
But a movie called Jingle Jangle.
Oh, yeah, it's a great movie, man. Great movie.
Yeah, it was actually, if you've seen it already,
boy,
you know, yeah,
Jeremiah
it was really
McKinnis
good. So.
If you don't bring my phone back here, boy, I'm taking notes and stuff on my phone. My son just came and snatched that thing and ran away. Sorry for being so unprofessional, but guys, I'm at home. So anyway, go ahead. The Jingle Jangle is a dope movie, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And by the way, also, I don't know if you guys can tell, I wear glasses normally. So I'm about half blind right now. So,
oh, man.
Because I was testing out my camera because I ran out of contacts. I was testing out my camera and I was like, I didn't like that
glare,
in my glasses.
Yeah.
So I took my glasses off. So if you see me kind of squinting down, looking a little like I can't see, that's what it's about. But yeah, problem. I see people saying what's up in the chat. So. Yeah, I'm just glad to be here.
Folks have really been like trying to figure out who's this guy with the $1 million Barry White voice. So glad you could join us tonight, man. Let's take a look at this next video, and let's have a conversation about it. Let's see what it's talking about. Okay, so we're watching a video of a Republican Party club in New York City having a Christmas party without a mask. Let's keep watching. Now, at the risk of getting a copyright violation, because YouTube doesn't play, how these. I'm gonna stop playing the clip right there. But these clowns still don't believe that this is real, man. I talked to a friend yesterday. And I know if I asked the audience this, because with 330,000 people gone, it's a good possibility that everybody knows somebody who has passed away from COVID-19. What are your thoughts about these morons who still don't believe that this is real, despite the fact that we had 3,100 people die today? 3,100 people dead today. What are your thoughts, man?
There's such a disturbing amount of entitlement in the anti-mask, and there's actually a video in the folder that David put in there as well with this guy. It looked like he was in some sort of Barnes and Noble store, no mask on, just screaming and yelling at the top of his voice. I don't know what it is with these people. This is what happens when you have a society where billions of dollars are spent annually on propaganda. Whether it's Fox News, whether it's any of these, ancillary right-wing outlets, when you have so much money being put into indoctrinating people and into confusing people, and you politicize things that shouldn't be politicized, you know what I'm saying? Normal problems that other countries are able to solve, like Australia, for instance, and they're able to contain this outbreak. In a country like the United States, it's turned into something that's just become out of control, where people actually don't really care if they're putting other lives at risk. And it's extremely dangerous. It would be a problem if it was just 10% of the population. But when you have so many millions of people who voted for Donald Trump, despite knowing how much his administration has dropped the ball on COVID-19, and they're going around and this virus is mutating. There's like a mutation in the UK now. That's supposed to be more, deadlier than the one that we're dealing with. I've oftentimes during this whole crisis felt like I was in World War Z or some dystopian end of the world horror movie, because when you couldn't write not a better, but you couldn't write a different collapse
Fiction
to the society.
Right. You couldn't mark.
than what
You
we're
could
actually
not
going through
write
right
it.
now.
You couldn't write fiction. Like if I presented this novel,
Yeah.
if I presented the novel of 2020 to anybody, to any publisher, if I presented a 2020 book, they would say this is poorly written. It is too on the nose. It is too, you know what I mean? Make it a little. It's just it is so ridiculous. But yet here's the reality of our lives. Now I re-downloaded that 1A because it didn't download first. But this is the video I think you're talking about, the one at Barnes and Noble. So let's take.
Establishment. I have a fucking right to be here. You don't. Yes, I do. There's signs all over the place that say you need a mask. That is not a law. That is not a law. Step away. Back the fuck up from me. Why are you so close to me? Get very illegal remove. Why are you so close? Leave the store now. Why?
He stepped up to her.
Why?
Right.
Why? This is all for you people. Out. Now. What?
You no longer belong here.
What?
You do not belong in this store.
What do you mean? What? Step away from me. Step away from me.
I'm not regulated.
She hasn't even moved.
Regulation. This is a public establishment. I am a customer. Privately owned? Really? So, okay. Suck a fucking dick. Suck a fucking dick.
Merry Christmas, man.
Somebody said Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas, everyone. This is a public.
I've never seen people so excited about killing themselves, right? I've never seen somebody so passionate about putting themselves in a position that ultimately, I mean, y'all, these clowns ain't immortal, bro. Like this thing is taking people out, 3,100 people today, and they're out here playing these games, showing like they're trying to show that they are true patriots because they refuse to wear a mask. I mean, it just goes to all the deeper, wider madness that we've seen throughout this entire pandemic. What are your thoughts?
And then I also even remember when the outbreak first started, and we didn't really know the makeup of primarily the people who were passing away from it, right?
Right.
And so that's when they that's when they started locking everything down and they shut everything down. Then as soon as the numbers started coming out and people started to see that it was primarily impacting us, black people and other people of color, that then all of a sudden they wanted to open everything back up and they didn't really care anymore. I've seen interviews where people on the right were asked, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about COVID-19? And one guy actually literally said, hey, well, this is not really affecting people like us. It's not really affecting.
I remember that. That was a guy out of Georgia, actually. That was a North guy, somewhere around the Alpharetta area.
Yeah.
That's just it was like a really well-to-do suburb north of Atlanta, where it was at that time the data was showing that it was disproportionately affecting poor and black people and brown people, and here these wealthy white people were sitting out in the middle of the pandemic drinking beer and eat pizza at a restaurant, saying that it doesn't really affect them that much. That I don't know if that's the same one you're talking about, but I remember that.
That's exactly it. And that shows the entitlement. Now, of course, it's a virus. It'll impact anybody, right? It'll get into anybody's system, So their wealth and their skin color is not going to protect them, which is why now, months later, after they just didn't listen, and the rest of the world and even some people in the United States were listening, we were wearing masks, we were social distancing. Now you see where it's popping up the most, where it's doing the most damage. It's doing, it's hitting the Midwest, where it's hit the Midwest pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? And that spreads because everybody travels around the country. So by y'all not really caring, you're actually jeopardizing the lives of the people around you, your family members, your friends.
Right.
And then they're just spreading it elsewhere. So I was skeptical of the vaccine initially. And I even said this on Twitter. I said, I'm going to be, number 10 million in line to, but I'm going to try to be number 10 because I think I want to just get this out of the way. And when I'm able to actually take it, I'm going to take it because I can't really trust these people.
I said that this morning, man. These folks will sit around and get us killed, like especially with this version that you're talking about from the UK, and it's for all intents and purposes, we believe that it's already here. That it's 70% more contagious 70% more contagious. I'm sorry. I just, I'm the guy who gets on the plane and I'm sure that that's the one that's going to go down. That's just me. I'm the guy who also thinks that if I go to anybody's restaurant for more than the 10 seconds it takes me to grab my takeout, I'm going to be the guy to get COVID. But with 70% more contagious, it's a good likelihood that I will be that person. So to that end, I am most certainly going to take that vaccine right away. Brian, everyone wants to know your Twitter handle. Give that to us real quick. So before we look at this next clip.
Yeah. So on Twitter, you can find me at @_Black Intellect. If somebody's wondering what that's in reference to, I actually used to have a political blog called Black and Intellectual. It's not up anymore. Actually, I'm thinking about getting it back up and running. So if you go to like blackandintellectual.com, you're not going to see anything. But yeah, I mean, that's how I got started talking about politics. And this was 2016. So I've been at it for some years now. And, Ben was the first person who I really linked up with. And yeah, like I really didn't communicate with a whole lot of people. So
didn't know that.
Yeah, like and then I was following you and I think we share a lot of thoughts and opinions about politics.
Yeah.
So,
no, I've known you for some time now. I've known you for some years now, and I what I love is, I just love dope, smart people, man, and you're definitely one of those. All right, let's take a couple seconds here. We're gonna take a quick breather. We wanted to get Rebecca in, but she let us know that she is still working in those corporate streets, so she can't join us. But Darren Smith will be joining us momentarily. So we're gonna take a quick breather, and when we come back, we're gonna watch a whole lot more video. We'll be right back.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
All right, so let's take a look at this next clip, and well, you have to see it for yourself.
If this were a movie,
it is a joke. We're a joke.
this thing is cast like a show.
Just when you thought 2020 couldn't get any 2020er.
I'm perpetually amazed at how stupid our national discourse is. I really am.
Let's consider the trends that brought us to the Trump era, shall we?
The Republican Party has turned into an organized gang of sociopaths.
And then there's the Democrats, different side to the same coin.
There's actually collusion between the two parties where they protect each other's incumbents.
No party represents us.
I hate politics so much.
This is the problem. The rich bought and own our political system.
They wouldn't have spent all that money and put all that effort into trying to persuade you to act against your own interests if they didn't think it was plausible.
Did I miss something?
What do the Democrats stand for?
The soul of America.
Well said, sir.
Platitude garbage that doesn't actually mean anything.
America is not a democracy.
Not a democracy. It's an oligarchy.
Fooled into an illusion of freedom.
Let me know if you guys hear anybody you recognize.
You just feel like there's no hope and there's no way out.
There is no politician that's going to save us.
Progressives used to be the lions. FDR was a progressive, and he steamrolled everybody.
How did the Democrats come to abandon working people?
Back in the 1980s, I'd be considered a moderate Republican.
Biden told the big donors that nothing will fundamentally change.
This is how Trump got here.
I made no campaign promises.
There's no way that this ends well.
There is no back to normal.
We are in
Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's keep listening.
New political era.
But now we got to primary the hell out of the Democratic Party because I have no confidence that they're going to do what needs to be done.
You have to shame them and embarrass and call them out.
This is the only form of communication that gets your stuff on CNN.
Changing the world around the minds that won't be changed.
This is how change happens.
We must build a powerful democratic labor movement built on solidarity and power in the workplace.
You're just begging for the system to be burned down.
They have nothing left to lose.
All right, so that was a trailer. That was a trailer of an upcoming little film that they put together. I'm in that video too. Yes, I'm in that. I'm somewhere around the minute mark. But that's a whole collection of leftist voices from Brett Elric over at TYT, Kyle Kalinske, Killed Cristobal, Tom Hartman, of course, it's yours truly, Jamal Green, Anna Kasparian, Rose McGowan, well, I guess she was in there, Cenk Uygur, Thomas Frank, who's super dope, David Doyle, Humanist Report. There's a lot of great voices on the left, and most of those voices have now been labeled as neoliberal, but that's a whole different conversation. I'm not even trying to go there because that's a rabbit hole that we're not going to go down. What did you think about that in terms of, like, not the movie so much, but in terms of what everyone was saying about the difficulty ahead because of the fights that we're going to have to fight, not only against Republicans, but also we are going to have to fight against the Democratic Party.
Right. I like the video, and I recognize a lot of the voices on there. I think, honestly, we have a good bench of voices on the left, and at this point, we should be expanding those voices, because I think, I know we have the winning arguments, and these establishment people on the left and on the right, they don't really want it from us, which is why they hate our guts. You know, they don't like us. You know, so they don't like the left. They don't like progressives. Right. So when we challenge power, and when we win, when we start getting wins, right? You know, you're actually going to start to see the knives come out. You know, so people should be prepared for that. But
I'm gonna be honest with you though, Brian.
You said what?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the knives are already out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the knives are out, as evidenced by this current push that is so divisive and so destructive and so dumb, to alliterate, that the people who win from this current push that is undermining the progressive power base, the people who win are corporate centrists, Republicans to the fight. So I think this is itself this move, this entire kerfuffle that's going on right now amongst the left. I think it is literally the result of those knives coming out, being wielded by very powerful people who understand all they had to do was fund this type of dissent or this type of chaos. Not even dissent. Dissent is fine. But the chaos that has ensued from this entire Jimmy Dore, Medicare for All, attack the squad, now the squad is evil. I think that's a result of exactly what you said, that their knives are already out.
Right, and honestly, I know you say we don't want to necessarily spend too much time on this, but I mean, I think when you look at the '60s, it's to be expected. You know, when you look at even the original progressive movement, you know, they had a lot of the same, historically speaking, they had a lot of the same issues. Dealing with certain issues, you know, certain issues were propelled and other issues were put on the back burner. You know, ultimately, and I said this on Twitter, we all kind of want the same thing generally, you know, and I think we are stronger together than separated and divided. I know that sounds very cliche, but I do want to kind of try to stay positive at least. And then too, I know, I'm glad to be in this family now. Yeah. You know, I'm glad that you brought me on board. And because when I was just doing this by myself, I even told you this one time, it was like I was speaking into the void, you know, so now that we are, at least, you are expanding your base and expanding the people that you are working with, voices that wouldn't have actually originally been propelled and actually been given a platform now have a chance to actually have their voice heard by a larger group of people. And I think that's what every leftist should be doing, especially the ones that have the capability to do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and then some do to an extent, and then others, really don't. And I'm not gonna say anything, but I mean,
the proof is in the pudding, right? The proof is in the pudding in terms of who replicates, who grows, who actually is expanding leftist voices versus just buying $2 million.
And then too, honestly,
let's play this. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we have the numbers. That's the most important thing.
Right.
You know, we have the numbers and we have the capital to do great things. We just have to build a structure.
Right.
We have to build a structure that people believe in and that we can, that we can grow on and keep challenging these centrist politicians, get them out of the paint, because we have time on our side as well. And I think we're going to win in the end. I'm an optimist. I sound like, if you follow me on Twitter, I know some people just started following me on Twitter. It might sound like I'm a pessimist on Twitter, but that's because Twitter is very chaotic and Twitter at times is very depressing, but in the real world, I'm an optimist, so I ultimately think we're going to win.
Yeah, I'm an optimist too. And I'm a very nice guy. And I guess it depends on who you ask. Some people think I'm the biggest asshole they've ever met. And then other people think that but I am an optimist. I'm very much an optimist because, as a matter of fact, we're going to play one more clip. And then, Brian, you know what I think I want you and I to talk about? I think I want to close out this episode talking about how optimistic we really are, because the future is progressive, right? Let's take a look at it, Rand Paul. Let's get angry for a little second first, and then we'll come back and talk about why we are optimists. Take a listen in.
Republicans like to mock modern monetary theory. The idea that government can print money with impunity, that government can spend whatever it wants without the need to tax. Modern monetary theory is basically the Dick Cheney deficits don't matter crowd, trussed up with a new fancy title. Most Republicans rightly lampoon this quackery, that is, when they're not practicing the quackery themselves.
Now, I want everyone to buckle up because this clip is a little long. It's 3 minutes long, but Rand Paul does not disappoint in his ridiculousness. Let's keep looking.
The monster spending bill presented today is not just a deficits don't matter disaster. It is everything Republicans say they don't believe in. This bill is free money for everyone. Proponents don't care if you're fully employed or own your own house or own your own business. Free money for everyone, they cry. And yet, if free money were the answer, if money really grew on trees, why not give more free money? Why not give it out all the time? Why stop at $600 a person?
That's actually a really good question. Why stop there when we literally have the capacity to make sure that every person on the face of the planet has enough money to survive? We have that capacity, but we choose not to. So what's the answer, Rand Paul?
Why not $1,000?
I don't know.
Why not $2,000?
That sounds good.
Maybe these new free money Republicans should join the Everybody Gets a Guaranteed Income caucus.
I love the UBI.
Why not $20,000 a year for everybody? Why not $30,000? If we can print up money with impunity, why not do it? The Treasury can just keep printing the money. That is, until someone points out that the emperor has no clothes and that the dollar no longer has value.
Value is all a relative idea and a construct that we made up.
To so-called conservatives who are quick to identify the socialism of Democrats, if you vote for this spending monstrosity, you are no better. When you vote to pass out free money.
Now, just so you know, he's talking about the COVID bill, right? Right. He's talking about it bringing free money in a pandemic when this clown doesn't even have to do it. He gets the best doctors in the world that he needs, and he gets paid even when he doesn't show up to work. But he doesn't want you to get $600.
You lose your soul and you abandon forever any semblance of moral or fiscal integrity. Really, the difference between the parties is less Adam Smith versus Marx and more Marx versus Engels. How bad is our fiscal situation? Well, the federal government brought in $3.3 trillion last year and spent $6.6 trillion. The deficit last year, a record-busting $3.3 trillion. If you're looking for more COVID bailout money, we don't have any. The coffers are bare. We have no rainy day fund.
Oh, I cannot. Let me read this. I kind of understand why his neighbor beat his ass, to be honest. This is from someone in the chat room. I couldn't say it, but I can read those comments.
Have no savings account. Congress has spent all the money. Every tax-paying American already owes over $136,000. And they're staring at projections into the future that show no end. We are $27 trillion in debt today. How do we expect a child to have the economic opportunity when this crushing debt is their inheritance from Congress? All of this should be setting off alarm bells. But the only alarm bells in Congress are sounding the alarm for more spending and more debt. No cuts, no offsets, no pay-fors, no prioritization. Just print up more money and give it out to everybody because it's free money, come and get yours. By refusing to acknowledge the debt crisis, we are only hastening the day of economic reckoning. We are borrowing and worsening this debt crisis in part because too many governors and mayors have imposed heavy-handed restrictions that crush business.
All right. Rand Paul is consistently a libertarian fool, grifter, who takes advantage of free money from the government all the time, but doesn't want you to take advantage of it. Brian, what are your thoughts?
These people are full of it. They're and I want to say something else, but you know, I'm not going to turn into a pirate on this show. I really don't. I really can't stand these politicians, man. They don't have any problem at all spending money on a space force, which should be abolished. I don't care how many Battlestar Galactica spaceships are incoming right now. There shouldn't be a space force. They don't care about giving tons and tons of money to the Pentagon. They don't care about giving money to foreign countries.
Right.
They don't care about enriching corporations, Wall Street. Name your industry. Right. They will throw money at you, basically. Mm-hmm. As soon as the American people begin demanding $1,200, it doesn't even have to be monthly. Even if it's just a one-time thing, that's too much. This is oligarchic. This is just a plutocracy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
People like Rand Paul feel like they can get up. The only reason he can get up and actually say that right now is because he knows the people around him, at least not publicly, at least, and the media is not actually going to challenge him.
Right.
Whenever these politicians want to do something that enriches the rich and the powerful, they get what they want. It's not even up for debate.
Right.
No one stops and asks. This is what used to really kind of anger me with Bernie Sanders in just this, the 2020 primaries, because whenever he would bring up Medicare for all in these debates, he would know after like the first few times he would say something about it. They were asking, well, how are you going to pay for it?
Right.
After like the first couple of times, and he didn't really have, I think, a good response to that a lot of times, I would kind of give him a pass. But after the 10th time, the 12th time, and they're still asking you, how are you going to pay for it? That's an insulting question.
Right.
AOC had a perfect answer to that question. She was asked that question as well. The way you answer that question is to say, well, how are we paying for the military? How are we paying for tax cuts for the rich?
Right.
No one questions that stuff. Rand Paul doesn't have a problem with that.
Right.
But $600 a month, which is half of what people got the first time, is a problem. He shouldn't be in office. The fact that he's even in office is a joke, and
That's the joke.
It makes a mockery of our entire legislative process.
Let me throw this tweet on the screen. This is from actually I can't see on my screen exactly who it's from, but they said Rand Paul voted for a tax cut for the rich that added $1 trillion, not 1 billion, not 1 million, not 1 billion, $1 trillion to the debt, to the deficit rather, which inevitably goes to the debt. But he has no problem giving this money and these tax coffers. He emptied the coffers. Right? If there's nothing in the coffers, it's because Republicans in 2017 at that tax bill, or rather 2000, it was 2017. They emptied the coffers in order to give it to the rich, and now we're in a situation where, like, if we don't have any money, it's because we gave it all away to the richest people in this country. And if you look at this, somebody mentioned in the chat room about $6 trillion to the stock market. That is money that came from the Fed, right? So he's talking about all the printing. Y'all had no problem printing money to send to Wall Street. What do you think, man?
Exactly. They just press a button. So they printed so much money just to prop up the markets.
Yeah.
Just to prop the markets up.
Yeah.
Where did that money go? I mean, outside of just into the coffers of the oligarchy,
right.
I mean, they bend over backwards for so few people. And it's like, I don't even think it's that they don't see the damage that it's doing. They don't care. They don't really care because they figure, okay, if push comes to shove, if the people really get angry, well, that's what we have our paramilitary police force for.
Right.
To crack skulls when skulls need to be cracked because we're just corrupt and people have put up with it. Or people are tired of putting up with it. So that's why they don't want to defund the police. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with public safety. It has absolutely, trust me, it has absolutely nothing to do with public safety. It is about protecting the establishment. It is about protecting the oligarchy from us, from the working class, from working people. That is why they have military weapons. You don't need military weapons to catch somebody that robbed a 7-Eleven. If they're even still up. I don't know if 7-Eleven is but
yeah, they're still around.
You don't need a tank to find somebody that broke into somebody's house. You only use military weapons for public suppression, and that's what it's about.
That's it. I want to bring in another guest to the program, Darren Smith. Darren Smith, and actually, Darren, I got to put you on screen by yourself first, because I can't get number one. Don't you ever come on my show with a fly ass blazer like that ever again, bro? Because that is that is a fly blazer first and foremost. But then two, coming on my show with the Lombardi Trophy. Darren Smith, you cover sports in Kansas City, and you're coming to hang out with us, and hopefully we get this sports show going on this network. But first and foremost, welcome to the program. I got my man Brian Lewis here with me. Just tell everybody about yourself really quickly, and then I want to get you into this conversation.
Sure. No, first of all, thank you very much. It's an honor to be a part of your show, and hopefully a part of your sports deal when we get everything up and running in February. 42 years old here in Kansas City. I cover the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Royals, KU football, basketball, as well as sport in Kansas City. I also cover UFC when the opportunity presents itself. I've been in radio since my sophomore year in high school. I've covered 3 Super Bowls in February, and then I've done Radio Row, done the Final Four. I've also covered, like I said, some of the biggest, largest fights in American history, including Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Love sports. Was raised in politics. Been going door to door. Been involved with campaigns since the age of 4. Ran a national campaign in Louisiana as the campaign manager for a congressional campaign. I've ran local mayor races here in Kansas City, along with state and also school board elections as well. So I've been to it. I've real good friends with Marcus Farrell, who watch you all every morning. We were part of the congressional boot camp, Black Caucus congressional boot camp back in 2014. So my congressman Emmanuel Cleaver is also a pastor here. My father worked for him as well. So
wait, did you say Emmanuel Cleaver?
Yes. And so that's my past. He literally lives 5 minutes from my mother's house. So it's nuts for me to go knock on his door and give him the business when it's warranted.
That's what's up. Now is that a genuine issue? Is that a genuine product that you have? Is that a real Vince Lombardi trophy?
It is. It is a genuine replica. Only the owner and the organization get it. Players and coaches, everybody else, you have to, get your own. But yeah.
Okay, okay. Because I'm about to say, man, I might have to come. I mean, no, I can. All right, so let's jump into this conversation, man. We got a whole lot of videos ago, and we just dropped the mention of a sports show, and people are already like, yes, we about to do that. We about to do that. They're excited. But one thing I'm excited about is so many amazing Black voices who talk about everything from international politics all the way over to sports and everything in between. But also because it gives us a vantage point that is not often represented in particularly politics. So that's why I'm so glad to have both of you gentlemen this evening. I want to play a couple of clips in this next segment and get both of your insight on it. So let's watch this one together and have a brief conversation about it. Let's take a look.
Our agenda is about American greatness. Their agenda is about American decline. Where we cut taxes, rolled back regulation, and advanced freedom, their agenda is higher taxes, open borders, socialized medicine, a Green New Deal, and abortion.
Love socialized medicine.
They want to make rich people poorer and poor people more comfortable. We have fought to make every American richer, and that's exactly what we've done.
I'm going to pause it here because they are as dumb as we think they are. Anand Giridharadas, he said he quoted him saying, they want to make rich people poorer and poor people more comfortable. And Anand said, yes, exactly. Darren, I want to get your take, man. What's this like? The president was like, the vice president thought that was really going to be an applause line, but I think everybody in the world understands the rich don't need to be as rich, and we need the poor to be absolutely more comfortable. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me first say as a disclaimer that I have to kind of watch what I say because, again, I have, who I represent and stuff.
Only say what you can.
Yeah, but
I'll say the rest.
But this is the height of hypocrisy. And look, one thing that I will never apologize for, I am unapologetically black, and I love my black people. I love poor people. Look, don't think because it's banner behind me that I've quote unquote made it, because it's everything that looks glitter doesn't it isn't gold. And so when I hear that, for me, I get more frustrated at our elected officials on the Democratic side that we support, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be a representative of the people. And I remember a time when my eyes, even though I grew up in politics, my eyes were open when I did a fellow at the White House in 1999 under Bill Clinton. And when I would literally go to work at the White House every day, and I see homeless people standing sleeping right outside on the front lawn, of the White House, and it bothered me, because I'm like, okay, we pay in the taxes and we do all this stuff, and this is the things that these people get. I mean, this is how you show that you care. And when I hear that, I hear someone that just doesn't get it, and it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't seem to matter that what we do or how much we protest or whatever. Seems that at the end of the day, our elected officials, they still don't seem to speak for us. And look, I wish we could have a whole bunch of AOCs and squad members up there, because I'll be honest with you, to me, even some of our Congressional Black Caucuses members are doing a piss poor job when it comes to speaking up for the people.
Yeah. Brian, I want to get, speaking of that, because, one thing, you and I have known each other for years, Brian, and we both at sundry times have come and given the Congressional Black Caucus hell. And at all points, in all situations, we find it necessary to give Democrats hell. And of course, if you even look at Republicans, you realize that they deserve all the hell that we can give them. What are people to do when so many factions in this country, political factions, are a part of the problem, including people who look like us in some cases?
Yeah, I think honestly, it's about, because I agree with what he just said. Pence doesn't get it, and the problem is he's not alone. The vast majority of them in Congress, who are, especially the ones who have been there for a long time, who are multimillionaires, a lot of them don't get it, including some of the black ones. So I think a lot of these people have been exposed, though. Yeah. And I think with the success of the left recently, I think a lot of people have been put on notice, and I think we're going to start getting some of those people up out of the paint, because
I know my audience. I know our audience knows. But when you say get up out the paint, you mean get them out of office, get them out of position, get them out of scoring position. Is it? Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody understood.
Get them out of office. Go ahead.
Can I? Do you mind if I add something? One thing I want to say is that the height of the Republican Party is that they are full of shit and full of. The elected officials in Congress. Let me specify that because. I work for some Republican boss who are pretty good, but these elected officials, hey, I think
you better protect that job.
But in all seriousness, when you see these last 4 years and under the Bush administration, how deficit be damned, saying they run stuff up on the credit card, and I know, first of all, I was real upset about the stimulus relief bill, or this COVID relief bill that they quote unquote passed in the $600. Look, Nancy Pelosi, she's going to have to deal with the hell that's coming her way for her comment about it. About it being whatever the hell it was. It was full of shit. But let me say. When it comes to these Republicans, when it comes to deficit, see, for me, I'm someone who would throw the stuff right back at them. You did not care about, you didn't care about putting $4 trillion of debt when it came to that Bush tax cut. You didn't care about the $1 trillion of Medicare D under Bush. You didn't care about trying to pay for these damn wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And people seem, for some reason, people seem to forget that, in our elected officials, Democrats, when it comes to this stuff about, for every dollar that we give, now we got to cut from a program, somewhere else. I got a problem with that, and I don't know the answer except for getting some people out of office and making sure that they have a backbone to stand on. But because people always ask me why I don't run. Because one, I'm a socialist. I have no problem, with trying to give people money so they can survive. I have no problem with Medicare for all. I have no problem when it comes to reparations. I have no problem, when it comes to government funded free college or whatever. Man, look, and I know people be like, well, damn, he's going after. Look, I've seen firsthand, look, I have to have these arguments with people on Facebook all the time about, when it comes to, about people getting, man, seriously, I even had people this weekend talking about, $600 is too much. Who the fuck are you to sit there and tell somebody, how much 600, you don't know somebody's situation. And I tell people all the time, it's hard for me to speak on other people and spin up people, but look, you don't know my story. You don't know other people's story. You don't know what somebody has to go through.
Right.
I know what it's like growing up having without. My mom, love her to death. She's finally getting ready to retire at the end of this month. She literally raised other people's families in our house, and while raising us at the same time. I mean, my mom's biggest regret was that she couldn't come to my sporting events when I was in high school because she was too busy working or taking care of other people and stuff, right? And look, I love her for it, because she's a hell of a woman. But but when these people feel so entitled, I mean, Republicans have no problem with these damn tax cuts. I mean, what they just this past week they I guess in this bill. You're able to get 3 martinis or something and write that off as a business expense. You know what I'm saying?
Are you serious or are you joking? Because I didn't see that part.
No.
You dead ass
serious. I'm dead ass serious. No, but I mean, you got to read stuff. I mean, and Nancy Pelosi. Look, I'm a strong ass Democrat, but look, but I call people to the carpet. I don't give a damn who you are. I'm allergic to bullshit. And one of the things that Nancy Pelosi.
Wait a minute! Stop!
I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize because I only have one allergy. I went to the doctor and the nurse checked me out. She said, "Do you have any allergies?" And I said, "Yes." It's bullshit. Go ahead.
But I look at this. AOC. She has a good point. You rush out a 5,000-page bill where these people unless they don't have a chance to read it, but you want them to pass it right away, and then you start to find out all this stuff that's in it. I mean, now look. Ben, I know you talked about doing some hustling last week. I'll be the first to. And look, everybody knows me in Kansas City. Yeah, everybody knows me in Kansas City. I'm not afraid to say it. Hey, I used to sell DVDs. I still do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something I've been doing since 2005. Money is money. I like to gamble. So I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Look, hey, I was making about $50,000 a year selling movies. So it is.
Man, don't
I pay my
tell all the secrets, bro.
No. But I pay my taxes on it. But I say that to say that when it's all said and done, we've got to we have seriously got to get some true representative of the people that are in office. So let me I'm gonna stop for a little bit.
Oh man, nah, man, you been.
And she said, see, the person said, yeah, 3 martini.
3 martini.
I didn't. I wasn't lying.
No, I know you wouldn't, man. Look, this is a second part of Mike Pence, and he shifted gears of the clip of Mike Pence speaking there. He shifted gears from talking about the COVID and the relief bill and everything else he was talking about, and now he's talking about the coup. Let's watch this part.
And as our election contest continues, I'll make you a promise.
That
We're going to keep fighting until every legal vote is counted.
What the hell is he talking about?
We're going to keep fighting until every illegal vote is thrown out.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to win Georgia. We're going to save America, and we'll never stop fighting to make America great again. You watch.
Oh, my God. So he shifted gears, Brian. He turned up, Brian. He is now not only saying that, we are going to win, Brian, what the hell is going on here, man? What the hell is going on here?
Like, it's hard putting into words how so incredibly delusional. Hold on, I don't think I'm centered. How so incredibly delusional the right wing is. You know, they've stopped. It used to be about voter suppression. It used to be about voter ID. It used to be about kicking people off the voter rolls. But even that's not keeping up with the trending of the population right now. So they're just out here just flippantly talking about just throwing out millions of votes as if that's normal, as if that's how we actually handle politics and actually transition power in this country. I mean, it's dangerous, but I don't even know how many of their supporters even believe this crazy talk. I think they just want to go somewhere. They want to be able to clap and cheer and blame whoever they want to blame for why they didn't win. And then Trump and his people, Trump and Pence and his whole organization, they can rake in millions of dollars and rip everybody off. It's a scam. This whole thing is just a giant scam. And I mean,
it's a dangerous one.
Hold on.
It's a dangerous one.
It's a dangerous one. Go ahead, Darren. It's a dangerous one. What's your thought?
Let me just say that Mike Pence speaking and the crowd reacting like that, it just shows that Republicans are full of shit and they are just as stupid as Americans think that they are. No, seriously, man. Because look, I know this is a serious show, and this is we live in a serious time, and the fact that their base is that so fucking idiotic to believe that they actually won the election and think that they're going to be able to overturn the election. Look, if I'm Donald Trump and Mike Pence, if they're going to buy it, I'm going to sell it to them. But the fact that come January 20, their asses are going to be out the White House and nothing they can do about it, it just baffles my mind just how batshit ignorant these people are. And truly, I don't like talking about people, but hell, they give me fodder to do just that.
Right. Brian, you were saying, expand on your point a little bit more, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, they, like he said, they put it on themselves. It's you can't negotiate with insane people, right? And this is what angers me so much about the establishment centrist. Let's work and let's unify. Let's find common ground, which is what Joe Biden is running around talking about. That's never going to happen. They have decided that they are engaging in political warfare against the Democratic Party.
That's it.
Act like it.
Right.
Return, be reciprocal, and return their for the lack of a better word, their energy or their what they're doing. Return it in kind. That's how you have to deal with these people. Yeah. And I mean,
I'll be honest. What needs to happen is the Democrats need to grow a backbone, and what they need to do is they need to do to Republicans what Republicans have no problem doing to Democrats.
Doing to them,
and that is ramming stuff either through the House or through the Senate. I mean, that's the reason why Democrats can't hold on to power, because they don't know how to use it when they get it. And I mean, I'm afraid that even if the Democrats were to win in Georgia, that making a Chuck Schumer, you don't want to see me. I'm sorry, but
you don't want to turn up.
Yeah, but if you were to see Chuck Schumer as a majority leader, I mean, I'm not sure how different things will be, because then you're going to have people like, you're going to have centrists like Joe Manchin and the people in the Dakotas trying to now side with the Republicans, wanting them to be involved. When I'm sorry, the whole time Mitch McConnell has been in power, especially under Obama, all he wanted to do was obstruct. So I mean, if you're in look. I understand politics is the art of compromise and negotiation, and I understand that at this time, you might have had to do what you had to do to get this thing done. But the thing is, I mean, hell, Donald Trump and them offered, $1.9 trillion earlier I guess in the fall, right before the election, and Nancy didn't want to take it. And I'm sitting thinking like, now you're not going to get this same deal after the election, but you're willing to, and you want to stand strong on $600 now somehow, and that's for the unemployment. I'm sorry, I don't want to get people confused. But now you're fine with the $300 instead of $600, when the $600 was
on the
always
table
at
before.
The end. Yeah, I mean, and you were like, if $600 is not in that unemployment, then we don't have no deal. So I mean, again, Democrats speak with both sides of their mouth. No, I'm sorry, Democrats.
Hey, listen. Don't let the comments for the audience. Just ignore. Yeah. Just go. But I know they be saying a lot of great stuff. Okay, go ahead.
But at the end of the day, they speak out of both sides of the mouth. And again, I think we do need new leadership. Granted, Nancy Pelosi, she's good at what she does, but her time has come and gone as well.
Yeah. Brian, get in there real quick, because we're going to take a break in a second. But I want you to get the last word on this subject of the Democrats' culpability, the Republicans' irresponsibility, and the state that this country is in as a result of the ruling elite. And then we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately they're on the same team. They're on the same team. So they're going to keep screwing us over until we do something about it. It's like George Carlin said, it's one big club and we ain't in it.
You're not in it. That's it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to do the patron party. I'm going to talk to these gentlemen a little bit more. We'll be right back after this. All right, it's that time of the show, fellas. Y'all mind hanging out for a second? I'm going to do this patron party. I got to thank the people who make this possible, our patrons and our Twitch subscribers. So let's have a patron party real quick. Hold your seats, everybody. Patron party music? You going to play patron party music? We're going to get I have to do it the old-fashioned way. Here we go. We do it like that.
Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and get twice the content and unfiltered interviews without any of the commercial interruptions.
And here we go. At this point in every single episode, I'd like to take a minute to thank the people who make the show possible, our patrons. Very special welcome to Ellen R. Thank you for becoming a patron. Lateef M. Thank you for becoming a patron. Antoine C. Thank you for becoming a patron. Bowman 812. Thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Oh, wait a minute. Michael McAllister, thank you for subscribing on Twitch for 4 months. Gina the Introvert, Gingy Ginger, Midas B4, thank you all for supporting us on Twitch. You too can become a part of this prestigious and prodigious patron family by going to patreon.com/The BPD Show, where you get a whole lot more content, none of the commercial interruptions, and you give me the ability to speak power into the powerless, whether the powerful like it or not. Did you hear what I said? Ow. BC. DMV. All right, that said.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Yeah.
Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
Yeah. Yep. Check me out. I want to bring back on the screen my dudes. Let me tell you something, man. One thing I absolutely love doing is, I think one of my favorite things to do, let me flip that order, is to honestly just introduce new voices. I just absolutely love it, because I honestly firmly believe that there are as many smart people out there as I am smart. If I think I'm brilliant, I think it's that many more brilliant people out there, and it never fails me. I'm always like I'm running into people all the time. Brian, I mean, we've known each other for years, and I know you to be one of the most brilliant brothers I've ever met. Darren, I've only known you. How long have we known each other, Darren?
About maybe 2 weeks. Hey, hold on, but I will say this. I got a bone to pick with you, because I was watching your show yesterday morning. You all were talking about your Christmas songs and your top 3, top 5, and you talking about Let It Snow. Now, Let It Snow is good, but let's not forget the Let It Snow version by Take 6. So if you haven't heard it, you need to pull it up on YouTube, because trust me, it is Take 6.
Better than the Boyz II Men version. I don't think I've ever.
They are literally two, because Boyz II Men's version it's not like original classic, but you listen to Take 6, Let It Snow, I promise you're gonna be like, damn, them brothers.
You know what? I guess I honestly feel so bad that I don't know that version, because number one, I am a huge fan of Take 6. Number two, Brian McKnight is actually on the Boyz II Men version of Let It Snow, and Brian McKnight is one of his brother is a core member of Take 6. So I'm ashamed that all these years,
up on YouTube,
I never knew.
I guarantee you will not regret it.
Yeah, no, I see it there. Okay, all right. Duly noted. But we've only known each other for 2 weeks, and in that time, well, actually 3. I think we're going on 3, right? But in that time, we've had a chance to talk extensively and just get to know you as a person. And there's a camaraderie, right? There's a commonality. There's a common thread of our experiences that, of course, I mean, I'm not saying that greatness is only mundane to blackness, but goddamn it, there's some greatness in blackness.
Well, look, my favorite saying is facts at its very essential core are still facts. So what you're saying is true.
Facts. What do you think about that, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think this is a great thing. I think what you're building and what we've talked about, offline, I think it's going to be huge. I think everybody that's with us now, I see y'all in the chat. I'm sorry I can't respond to everybody, but I've seen the comments, and so definitely thank you. I'm just glad to be here, and I think there's a lot that we're going to definitely overturn some tables.
Yeah, we're gonna flip some tables. So, fellas, like, this is almost the end of the show, and what I want to do before we go, I want to give each of you 30 seconds to just say whatever you want to say before I let you go, and then I'm gonna kick you both off the air, and I'm gonna talk about you off air, not off air, but I'm gonna talk about you with my audience, with you off air. But I want to give you a second to say something to the audience before we go. So, Brian, I'm gonna put you up first, man. Get some last words to the audience, and be sure to tell them how they can get up with you.
Well, you can find me on Twitter. Like I said, I'm going to repeat my handle again, @_Black Intellect. And I've been doing this, honestly, for several years now. And it's been off and on. It's been a little up and down, kind of rough. And for a time, I was just thinking about just wrapping it up. But then Ben reached out to me. He said, hey, I think I'm building something great here, and I want to have you on board.
Wow.
And I gave it another shot, because talking about politics consistently is stressful. But when you have a nucleus of people who support you and who look out for you and who give you that motivation to keep going and keep steady. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm here. Yeah. And I want to be part of a team that values the truth and values justice. Yeah. And I think if we do what we are setting out to do, what we're building is very disruptive.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard in the beginning to see what the actual finished product is going to look like. But when you see that finished product, you're going to be glad that you were here from the very beginning. So
Hot damn, bro. That was, I mean, I don't even, stop right there. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else. That was perfect. That was perfect. Brian, thank you so much. Hang in there for a second. Darren, I want you to do the same, man. I want you to get the last few words here. And actually, Brian, before you do, tell everybody how to get up with you. I see your handle @_BlackIntellect. Is there anywhere else you want them to get at you?
No, you can find me on Twitter. That's where I spend most of my time if I'm on social media. I don't really mess with Facebook.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Gotcha.
Twitter is where you can find me for sure until I get my website back up.
Awesome. All right, Darren, do the same, man. I want you to just jump in there and just tell us about get whatever last word you feeling, no matter what it is, and then tell everybody how to get up with you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on along
Pleasure.
with Brian. I really appreciate it. I don't take this lightly, and I appreciate you even thinking enough to have me on your platform in the near future. First of all, I know things happen. I'm a spiritual person. Things happen for a reason. God put people in your lives for a reason. There's a reason why he raised me in politics and raised me in sports. There's a reason why he had me become a member of political groups here in Kansas City. There's a reason why Congressman Cleaver sent me out to the Congressional Black Caucus. There's a reason why he, allowed me to meet Marcus during our Congressional Black Caucus. It's the reason why Marcus and I have stayed in contact over the last 6 years. It's the reason why Marcus has, extended me out to you as well. So I really appreciate it. People, if you want to hear me on the sports side, censored more or less because I can't say the 7 naughty words over there at radio. I'm on every day from 3 to 4 p.m. Central on ESPN Kansas City, which on the air. You can either find me on Facebook, Darren Smith. You'll see me, I guess, in a red 3-piece suit at the Super Bowl. So that's how you know it's me. You can feel free to send me a friend request. You can reach out to me on Instagram and Twitter at Darren Smith WHB. I do live stream my show along with Over the Air Radio every day. I'm off the rest of this week, obviously, because of the Christmas holiday, but I'll be back on Monday. I do live Chiefs reports and stuff, and I also, cover the Chiefs with the Zooms and everything, so you might hear or see me and things like that. But at the end of the day, I'm appreciative of being put in the same space with you, and whatever I can do, as it relates to when we get the sports stuff up and running, I look forward to, and thank you once again to your audience as well for welcoming me into the family.
Absolutely, my friend. And I think I feel like I may have lost you at the very end. Brian, were you able to hear him at the very end?
I heard him, yeah.
Okay. So it was just my headphones. Listen, Brian Lewis, Darren Smith, thank you both so much for joining me. And obviously, I'm going to have you guys back quite often. And obviously, your voices are going to be permanent voices on this channel as long as this channel is in existence. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure's ours. Everybody, just show them some love in the chat room and send up some acorns for them. I only wanted to put them off the air so I could just be like, this is the last show for this week. And I know this previous week has been different, but I want to close on this personal note. You're going to tell a tree by the fruit it bears.